Hello, my name is Debo Adejana, real estate entrepreneur, MD/CEO of Realty Points Limited, and this is Real Estate Business with Debo Adejana. You are welcome to today's episode. Now, in this episode, I'll be talking about legacy property purchase methods that we've been using to buy properties, landed or otherwise, from the ancients, okay? From days immemorial. There are just 3 of them. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. Now, in this episode, like I said, I'll be talking about 3 legacy property purchase methods. These are methods that we've been using from time immemorial, probably handed over to us, but by people that have gone before us. But you see, we probably don't see the structure around it, okay? And I just want to highlight the structure around each of these methods to us. The number 1 method, I call it solo method or lone ranger method. Now, this is what happens in a situation where, as an individual, you decide to go buy property on your own. So, at that time and at that instance, you're considering your preferences, basically, and of course, what you can afford and what you cannot afford. Just you and you alone is what is in your consideration, okay? That is a solo method. That means you're going singly on your own, lone ranger, that's what I call it. Now, these phrases are mine, okay? You won't get them in any textbook, but at least it will help you understand how we buy properties, okay? Number 2 is a method you can call it collabo, okay, or peer method. Indeed, in these days of people collaborating to achieve something, music project and all of that, joint venture in real estate, So there are collaboration methods towards buying properties. And what happens in this instance is that a group of people who share some common bond and probably know themselves, okay, before that property purchase. And it's not that property purchase that brought them together. However, that property purchase is the main reason why they are coming together on this transaction. They probably have not been doing some other things together before, but that property purchase happens to be the reason. So you see this happen when a group of friends, 1, 2, 3, once they are not more than one, okay, not you, that means it's not just you going solo, but not multitude, okay, just a group of you that have some, yourselves, there is some common bond. You probably work in the same place, so you are colleagues, or you are old mates, so you passed out from the same secondary school, primary school, university, you live in the same area, okay, you belong to one small society together in church or in mosque or in whatever social club that you belong, and because you interact well, because you know yourselves well, you've come together to now buy property together. Now, this helps you, and it has its advantages and disadvantages. All of this process, there is nothing like, it's not about good or bad. We are talking about ways by which people buy properties. And so, depending on the circumstance you find yourself, you may have to buy real estate property using one of these methods or the other. So it's not about which one is good, which one is bad, okay? It's just for you to know, whichever you are faced with, to know the advantages that presents to you and probably disadvantages that presents to you. Now, number 3 method is the method I call cooperative method, okay? Now, that involves a regulated, established entity of multitudes of people who then go to buy property because they want to provide this opportunity for their members, okay? So the association is existing, maybe it's called cooperative, maybe it's called society, maybe it's called a club or whatever it is, but it's made up of a lot of people, okay, who are then going out, maybe by their representatives going out to get properties for their members. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of these methods? Let me start with the last one, the cooperative method. It has a lot of advantages. One is that in the economy of scale, because you are going to buy a lot, it enables you to be able to get economic benefit. Secure huge discount. Buy at a bargain, okay? It helps you to be able to do that because you then have more negotiating power, as it were. I mean, if ordinarily you come to a developer and you say, we are buying a block of maybe 8 flats or 16 flats or 12 flats, the developer will give you a discount no matter who that developer is, especially also depending on how you want to pay, okay? Some of these societies get to buy off plan, okay? So they're already coming ahead of people, but because they are buying a substantial amount, the money they will be putting into that project will enable completion, would enable to at least kick the project off and take the developer further. So usually they get rewarded by way of good discounts when bargaining for this. So when you are a part of that body, you get to get your property at a bargain because the economy of scale inherent there has enabled you to be able to then secure that discount. That's number one. Number two is, in purchase of properties, you usually have to use one professional or the other to do one thing or the other, a number of them. Now, when you are coming as a group, it helps you to be able to afford the fees of these professionals. You can negotiate with them, number one. Then you can afford it because whatever it comes to is shared amongst the members of this cooperative or this society or this club. And it comes to you, at a more affordable rate as against you engaging the professional for the task that you want him to perform in your purchase transaction, okay? So that enables you to be able to get the best of service because now you can go for the best of them all and be able to afford the best of them all. So that helps you to be able to get the best of professionals to look after what it is that you want to purchase, okay? So that helps. Number three is that you can also affect and impact the cost of events wherever you are buying. So a group like that can buy a bush, as it were. And because in properties, location, they turn the bush into an attractive place, a place of attraction that a lot of people then want to come. Why? Because they are in multitude. And you can imagine 500 housing units coming off from a place that is regarded as a dungeon before. With 500 housing units, it becomes an attractive center. So look at the likes of Festa, look at the likes of Satellite Town, look at the likes of Agbara, Gwarimpa, and all of those things in Abuja. All those areas, especially where you see, in the days, a number of government would build something, maybe outskirts, but with genuineness of purpose, you will see that in no time, people start living in that area. But if it's just one person going out there to build, you know that it cannot really speed up the process of development in that area. But with a 500 housing unit coming up in a place, 1,000 housing unit, 200 even housing unit coming up in a place, it helps to speed up development in that area. So they can control things, they can speed up things, by their actions, okay? Now, however, there are some disadvantages. One of which is if there is any issue in terms of trust, especially of the representatives, you may get swindled. And we see where people have misplaced people or abused the trust that has been, that people have, had in them, putting them in charge of these things and running these transactions, and they probably abuse the trust. And so the people that are members get to suffer it, either by way of having to then buy at more exorbitant price such that it doesn't make any difference whether they go alone or they go on their own, because the discount that they are supposed to enjoy has been siphoned into somebody or some group of people's pocket. And so you see a lot of transactions that go bad that way because the people charged with representing this group have not been transparent or have not been trustworthy, okay? Now, in a situation also where they are not as knowledgeable and they think that because they have economic power, they want to dictate everything and probably they can do everything. And so they ignore the advice or services of professionals, can also run the group into error massively, okay? Now, the other disadvantage is that, 5 fingers are not equal. So when you're in a group, depending on the modalities that have been arranged, if the arrangement is not tight enough and have considered from start to finish, end to end, how the project will start and will be completed, and they've considered that and done it, documented it, and they see that everybody is good to go. If it is left to, if let's say you are buying land, for example, and then the building or construction is left to the capacities of individuals, you will see that the project can drag forever. whilst one or two people are ready to develop, they can complete theirs. Others are not able to because they don't have that economic muscle, and they have to do it maybe on an incremental basis for years. And so the people that can do it fast enough will be discouraged either to do it at all, or they will have something there, but they will not be able to move there for security or whatever. Or if they move there, they will be at risk, as it were. So it also, because you can't control the pace of things, because you are going along with a lot of people, it slows down sometimes when it's not properly structured. The solution to that is to ensure that something is done end to end. You can, if it's for investment purpose, how we are going to buy it is already clear, that everybody is going to pay for it, and then what is going to inform the growth and all of that is decided, and we buy, and we'll just wait for the appreciation. And it's for development. How do we develop? Are we going to get loans? What are the qualifications for the loans, the criteria? Do we all meet it? Can we all qualify so that we can all, have this and go? Who are the professionals we are going to work with that are going to ensure that this thing comes on board, okay? Then if you are doing pair, that is collaborative with a few friends and all, you must have agreed on the modalities of this. The purpose of it also needs to be clear. It helps you in the sense that, yes, you may not be able to afford as much as, or it may cost you much more than it will cost you. Professional services, for example, okay, when you are doing cooperative, but at least it will not cost you as much as it will cost you if you were to be doing solo. You also still be able to engage good bargain. You also be able to probably negotiate more, okay, because it's still a sizable number that you are buying, and be able to keep your friendship and all of that. You may be able to control development more, between yourselves, and impact a project better. When you are doing this, it's better to look into a project that just needs a little, addition to get it going, because you really can't start a force on your own, especially if it's a housing project. You want to see that, okay, this housing project is already on stream, so if we had our own 3 unit, 4 unit, 5 units, it will be commensurate, it will make sense, okay? So you want to look at that. That's the advantage and disadvantage of that. It is still not as cheap getting professionals. It is still more, expensive, as it were. But then it's still something that is very, very welcome and very good. Okay? Now, for the solo you dictate. You go for your preference, like I've said. So you consider whatever it is that that catches your fancy. Okay? Once you can afford it, you are answerable to no one. You don't have to go at the pace of anyone. You go at your pace once that is all that you have decided and you are okay with what it is that you are buying. So you are not under undue pressure, because the peer group and the cooperative group can put you under some significant pressure, okay? You are not under undue pressure. You go at your pace. However, it will cost more. You don't have as much bargaining power, except you are buying a whole lot as an individual, okay? And you don't also have as much bargaining power with whoever you are buying from, and also with the professionals that you are going to use. You're going to have to pay their fees on your own and by yourself. Sometimes people tend to then run away from using professionals, cut corners, but I say, hey, don't do that. Don't be pounds foolish. Don't be penny wise, pounds foolish, okay? So you can negotiate the rate of this consultants. You can negotiate their rate rather than avoiding them entirely, because whatever you are trying to save, you may lose much more in future. So these are the legacy ways by which we buy properties. Depending on the situation you find yourself, you may have to buy using one of these methods. But if I may advise, for a lot of people who are starters in the real estate game, I usually encourage them to find a reliable group, cooperative kind of, okay, society, club that they can key into and start their real estate journey with, okay? Either investment or property acquisition. So just know that whatever it is that you are trying to achieve, okay, matches what it is that is their aim and objective, or their aims and objective, okay? If you fall in line, then you can, go along with them. And of course, they are also trustworthy. There is accountability system within that group. You must make sure that happens, and you can hold them accountable, okay, in one way or the other. And you engage professionals. I encourage people that are just starting to explore this opportunity, because it helps you to come in at a cheaper rate and all of that. If you have more questions, please feel free to send in your questions from the comment section. We'll be looking at it and we'll be engaging you there. And if you like this video, please, you've watched it and you like it, click the like button. If you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel at all, I would encourage you to please subscribe. and click the notification button. What that does is that whenever we drop any video, you'll be first in line, okay, to receive the notice and be able to watch at your time, okay, whenever you so choose. I remain yours sincerely, Debo Adejana, and it's always my pleasure bringing this to you. Next episode promises to be fantastic. Another moment to learn. I'm still in the business of helping you sack your landlord. Thank you very much and see you next time.